Hello, Sean Kosofsky here, the Nonprofit Fixer, and I am here on my Nonprofit Fixer channel on YouTube to give some more tips, tactics, and insights into nonprofit leadership, fundraising, and board development. And today we are talking about whether you can pay board members of nonprofits. I have a blog post on this, so you can go down below in the comments and in the description section and get a link to this blog post, but I wanted to talk about it here today a little bit because there is a lot of misinformation out there on whether or not nonprofits can operate the same way a business does, just with some tax benefits. I think that if you've been in the nonprofit sector a long time, you understand that that's not really true. So I want to just talk about this topic for a quick minute. Can you pay nonprofit board members? My experience is that I have a very particular point of view on this, but I want to clarify some things. In general, you should not be paying board members. I just want to give you that, not to bury the lead. You should not be paying board members. Private foundations may have the ability, because they have money and they set up their foundation to give away money, they may have the ability to give stipends or pay their board members. I don't think it is as frowned upon as it is in public charities, the way it is in private foundations. It certainly isn't, I think, illegal, but in the very small universe of private foundations out there, I think this is being done. When most people ask this question, can you pay your board members, they're talking about public charities. They're talking about the groups that need money, not those that give it away. In that situation, I would say, first, we have to understand the difference between a for-profit business and a not-for-profit business. A not-for-profit organization is not supposed to take the revenue that it gets and give it to shareholders. That is the single biggest thing that differentiates a business from a nonprofit. Businesses can take all of the revenue and do with it whatever they want within the law, but they can give it to shareholders, they can give it to investors. Technically, the board are the owners of the nonprofit, and therefore they should not be getting compensation for their work. All the extra money that comes in should go back into program, which can include salaries for staff, but you should not be giving money to the board. Now, there's another complication with this. If you're out there raising money as a board member and then you're getting paid, it will look like a conflict of interest. And that's one of the fundamental things you need to not do when you are running a nonprofit. You are shepherding public resources and you're getting a tax exemption. So you're held to a higher standard than a business. So if you're out there raising money and then just paying yourself with that money, it looks like a regular business. So it damages the credibility of a nonprofit. Now, again, having said that, I don't think it's ridiculous or wrong to reimburse board members for expenses related to board meetings. I also think that's relatively common. So you can have meals, you can have stipends for mileage, you can have technology costs involving attending board meetings, but this really should be pretty minor and it shouldn't be such an incentive to join the board because you're going to be making money off of it. So keep that in some practical area of compensation or reimbursement. But I also think that some board members can get paid for their actual business. So you should not give a board member money for being a board member. But if my board member is a printer and we use that printer for printing things, I can pay that board member as a vendor. In a perfect world, that board member should be giving me market rate or lower. If they are giving me a rate that is not better than market, it could look like self-interest, self-dealing, and a conflict of interest. So I would really just recommend you get a better deal from your board members if you are paying them for services outside of board leadership. One other thing I will say about compensating board members is that there might actually be rare situations where the whole point of the nonprofit is that people are broke and poor or destitute or refugees, or they are just really in a really very, very difficult position. So them being recipients of the charity might actually be grassroots and practical and completely ethical. This is a tiny example of a situation where a group is raising money for itself to relieve itself from maybe a hurricane or an earthquake or some horrible thing that happened, or some catastrophe. So those are really, really rare situations. Other than that, I strongly advise nonprofits to not compensate your board members for board service or for any ongoing work as a governor of the organization. It warps, distorts, and even corrodes the public trust. So I just wanted to give you that video on this today. Check out down below the fuller blog post on this and hit subscribe, tell your friends, and I'd love to have you give me your feedback on this video. Thank you.